Hey everyone, it's Steven from Tostemac alongside my mom, and welcome to another Tostemac Podcast. On these podcasts, we talk about all kinds of things, but today we're going to be talking about something that we just wrapped up last week, and that was the Best Buddies Champion of the Year fundraiser. And I gotta say, this has easily become one of the biggest projects we have ever worked on. Mom's shaking her head. Why are you shaking your head? Oh, ha ha, very funny. I forgot how to laugh. Ha ha ha.
I have a therapist to help you with that, honey.
Gee, thanks a lot, Mom. Anyway, for those who have been tuning in on either the YouTube channel or the Facebook page, awesome. Thank you for your support. But for those who just tuned in recently and may not know who Best Buddies is, I'll give you a brief explanation. Best Buddies is an international non-profit organization that started back in 1987 at Georgetown University. Back then, it wasn't exactly an organization per se, but rather a college program designed to help individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities make more friends. So those who participated in the program did not get any monetary gain whatsoever because that was not the point. The point was inclusion.
And inclusion is a theme that we have talked about all through the podcast and any of the other videos that we have filmed. As you remember, or are newly learning, is that, back in the day when Stephen and Thomas were diagnosed, we were looking to build our village, build our community. This is a group of people that's around us to help and support us as we are helping to raise these children. That is what Best Buddies is doing.
Right, so naturally a program like this would gain in popularity. So a year later, they would get their Best Buddies logo designed by Keith Haring. Now you may have heard that name before because he made some similar art styles for Sesame Street. And then a year after that, they got their nonprofit organization status, which is good for what they were planning to do later on, because eventually they started to grow towards multiple states. Now, I don't think they're in all 50 states yet, last I checked. I mean, they just got to Colorado recently, and they're trying to grow in Utah, so they're still growing even to this day. And of course, any and all help with that growth is greatly appreciated. Now on to the question, how did I learn about Best Buddies? I mean, I never really talked about them that much until this year, right? Well, that's because I just found out about them this year. And the way I found out was there was a coworker at work who was well affiliated with Best Buddies. And she told me about this friendship walk that was going on in Denver. And I thought to myself, I might as well go out there, hang out, make a video, have some fun. And you would have loved it because that friendship walk was one of the friendliest events I ever went to. I got to hang out with so many people. I even talked to one person about recommendations on appliances of all things. And it was a lot of fun. A lot of people coming together for a good cause. And that was when I met one of the people in charge in Best Buddies in Colorado, and that is Miss Rachel Fisher. I gotta say, this lady is probably one of the hardest working people I've ever met. Okay, aside from you. Look, it wasn't that hard to raise me, was it? I really ought to stop giving her these slow balls. Anyway, it's like when I saw Miss Rachel Fisher at work, she was like always all over the place, making sure all the events were going well, everything was going as planned. So the first time we met, I didn't really have too much time to talk to her because I didn't want to distract her too much from what she needed to do. But what I did was I went home, I made the video for the friendship walk, and eventually Miss Rachel actually saw the video and recommended that I help out on another project, which I may get to later. So that eventually leads to the fundraiser we participated in, which is the Best Buddies Champion of the Year fundraiser. So how I got in that was the same coworker who told me about the friendship walk actually recommended me as a champion for this fundraiser because this coworker was actually a former champion that did this before. And when I told her about like my YouTube channel, my books, and the times I was a guest speaker, then she thought I would be a good candidate for this Champion of the Year fundraiser. Now, what exactly is it?
The champion?
Well, but first we need to talk about the Champion of the Year fundraiser. What's that?
So the Champion of the let's try this again. The Champion of the Year fundraiser, that is where a variety of people who are champions of the year are chosen, and they're given 10 weeks. Within, they are going to raise a certain amount of money. So, for example,
this one, the goal was to raise $3,000 within 10 weeks, which sounds like a lot of time, but trust me, it's not.
No, it's not. And during this time, all the individuals, so it's more than one champion, there's several of them in this year.
And the champions are not just working by themselves. They actually kind of have a team. Mm-hmm. There's like a mission leader, a campaign manager, which thankfully I had a great campaign manager. Otherwise, I don't think I would have done so well.
It wasn't me, folks. Trust me.
Yeah. You already have enough on your plate as it is, like running the house, running your full-time job. So,
Right.
So, now you might be wondering, like, okay, we're raising money, but where's the money going to?
So the funds that are raised are being put aside for families as well as individuals with these special needs and these developmental disabilities.
Well, individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Very specific.
There you go. And the whole idea behind it is to raise funds so that, remember we talked at the beginning about being inclusivity. Well, in order to do that, you have to set certain things up. You have to have resources.
And you have to have programs in place, too.
Correct. You have to have programs. You have to have training. You have to have, places, overhead, lights. You need to have a room or a building where people are going to meet. And then you've got advertising fees. So there's a lot of things that go into this so that they can build these activities, such as the walk where they met Stephen and Stephen met them.
But there's more than just the event. Their primary goals for raising the money is going to creating one-to-one friendships for the IDD community.
And please understand that he's not saying that they're paying people to be someone's friend.
Exactly. Just like the original college program, they do not have monetary gain. That's not the point. The point is to set up a network or resources so that potential friends can meet up and be best buddies. That's what I mean by this.
And get the training that they need to be appropriate to be a best buddy.
Right. The other things are leadership development. There is also finding job opportunities wherever possible, because that's a big thing.
Absolutely.
And then, wherever possible, independent living. So that way, people with intellectual and developmental disabilities can have their own place and not be stuck with where they are all the time. Not that I'm saying there's nothing wrong with being here, because, like, did I mention how much I love you?
Suck up.
Well, I mean, if I'm living with mom and dad, I might as well be. Anyway.
A suck up?
But, yeah, let's go with that. So,
okay.
These are the programs that the money is going towards. So it's not like raising money just for the sake of raising money or like bigger promotions. No, this is for creating the programs and events that are needed to make more inclusion for the IDD community.
Correct.
Now, moving on to the next question, what exactly is a champion, you may ask? Like, can anyone be a champion? The short answer is no. Not everyone can be a champion for Best Buddies, and that's a very important thing to understand, is that those that are chosen to be champions, they don't just volunteer for it, they are chosen to be champions. They are individuals who have shown leadership skills, they have shown passion, and a commitment to making the world a better place for the IDD community. So they have to have some sort of track record with working with individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities in order to be considered a champion. And remind me, what exactly is my track record?
Excellent. So Stephen has proven all along, of course, and those of you that have watched us, you know that Stephen started at a very young age. He worked the circuit with me when we gave speeches through Autism Society of America. We went to UCLA, USC, a couple of other places. He went through scouting. His Eagle project had to do with this very same theme. Then when he came out here, he went to university. He works at a company, Home Depot. So Stephen has been advocating for this very same group of people. Then, while he was in college, he started writing his own books. He has done podcasts. He has done radio. He's done TV. So Stephen has a proven track record of raising awareness of this community among the general population. You might even say he's a subject expert.
Well, I mean, I'd like to think so. I mean, I've been doing it for a lot of years now. So that is why I, in particular, was chosen for this fundraiser. How exactly does it work? So, during the first week, during like the kickoff party, you get this little notebook right here that contains all the resources you'll need in order to make this fundraiser as much of a success as possible. Now, I'm not going to show you everything in here, but it's got resources, it's got recommendations, it's got paperwork that can help you brainstorm how you want to run this campaign, because there are multiple ways that you can go about it. Most commonly are like direct donations or like auction items for the gala event, which is the last day of the fundraiser, but we'll get to more of that in a bit. There are also possible sponsorships, but you got to get that done right away, because getting the approval for sponsorships, that has to go all the way up to corporate, and that takes a lot of time. It could be a few weeks, or it could be more than a month. So that has to be done right away.
So let's back up just a second here. So for those of you that may not understand, when we're talking about sponsorships, that's not going to mom and dad saying, give me your money. Sponsorship is you're going to a organization, a workplace, a church, a community group, and you're saying to them, hey, I'm raising funds for this activity, and I would like to have your support. Now, they can support you just giving you dollars, they can give you product, or they can give you service. And that's what a sponsorship is.
Yeah, and let me tell you, going to all these different kinds of places, that was probably one of the biggest challenges I've had. It's that every single day I was going to like 5 to 6 places every day, telling people what Best Buddies is all about, because the majority of the places I went to, they did not know anything about Best Buddies. And it's understandable because, again, Best Buddies just got to Colorado recently, so they still need to grow. So I was like, oh, that's okay. I just found out about it this year too. So I tell them about what Best Buddies is all about. I actually typed up a professional letter to give a brief summary of what it's about, because the sample letter I found, let's just say it had so many typos it drove me crazy.
So the thing you want to understand is, as a champion, Stephen had the work history. He had, through his college learning, he had the ability to be eloquent in what he was able to write. And Stephen does have that gift that he can write, where some of us would write a basic letter, Stephen's going to write something a little bit nicer. But so he was educating the community of what was going on with Best Buddies. He was raising funds in order to support Best Buddies. So you see how being a champion is more than just raising the money. He was actually out there educating the community.
Right, and that's the biggest thing. It's like, you let people know what Best Buddies is about, because when you help Best Buddies grow, you essentially help the IDD community grow as well. So like Mom said, I had to write up a letter, which I've done writing for many years now. Wrote a couple books, write the scripts for the videos. So that part, the writing part was easy, but it's just meeting people and having to talk to the managers about what I'm doing had proven to be an interesting challenge because I had to socialize with people. But the other thing was that usually when people ask to see a manager, it's usually that there's either something wrong, they're not satisfied with the service, they're going to complain, or on the rare instances, they want to give an associate a compliment. So when I'm talking to the manager, I have to let them know right away this is about the Best Buddies fundraiser, so that way it's not like, oh no, what did this worker do this time? So thankfully, I've had some experience with something similar to this before back in Boy Scouts with the scouting for food. Correct. So that was also door to door, talking to different people about this and handing out like the bags for it. So it's kind of similar to that, but a bit more involved in the sense that you have to know what this fundraiser you're doing is all about, because if you don't know, they're not going to know. And if you don't completely care about this, they're not going to completely care about it.
Hence no donations.
Yeah, so you go meet with them the first week, and then the next week you do follow-ups, either calls or emails, to see what the situation is. And I'll tell you, follow-ups, they do work.
Yes, they do.
But it doesn't have, it can't be like the next day. I would usually give it about a week before I reach out to them again, like, hey, have you received my previous notification? How's it going on the status? Stuff like that. And what I found was there are a lot of businesses and companies that are actually willing to commit to something like this, which was refreshing for me because I heard a lot more yeses than nos. And it was really awesome to see businesses and organizations take time to donate something to this.
So what you're showing, Stephen, is, people in the general public, they're willing to help us. We just need to let them know what we need. And that's pretty much what Stephen was doing, which again is why he was a champion.
Yeah, on a side note, this is also good for businesses as well because one, it's a tax deductible, but two, it also helps with publicity. It shows people that this is a business that cares, that supports this community. And trust me, people love good publicity like that.
Such as one of my absolute favorite organizations, I can't show you here, one of my favorite, Starbucks.
See, there's a reason Mom's bringing up Starbucks. I'll get to that in a little bit.
Yes, there's a reason.
Yeah, so...
Other than I'm enjoying the coffee.
Yeah. So, direct donations, auction items, and sponsorships, that's just a few ideas. There are several other ideas, like you can make a bet with coworkers to dye your hair if they raise a certain amount. Or maybe you can have a Dine to Donate event with restaurants where a percentage of their sales goes to the fundraiser. Or it could be like Mom did, it could be a arts and crafts event. There are multiple ideas and multiple ways you could go about with this fundraiser. Like for me, I did a few Dine to Donate events. It could have done better, but it was worth a shot.
It still brought in some funds.
It brought in some funds, yes. And the other thing was that I also did some charity live streams on Twitch, since that was something I could do. And I actually did raise some money from that as well, over $100. So there are many ways you can go about raising funds. You just have to be open to the possibilities.
And the other thing you want to do is do what they do very, very well. Think outside the box. Don't do what everybody else does. Think of something original.
Right. So don't think about what everyone else is doing. Think about what is going to work best for you. All right. So now that we've gathered up these donations and auction items, all of this leads to the gala event, which happened on November 12th, which was officially the last day of the fundraiser. Now, mind you, these gala events, they're not like typical get-togethers where you just casually wear whatever you want. No. These are formal events. I'm talking a tux. I'm talking a tie. I'm talking dress pants, dress shoes, dress belt. All of that, bells and whistles.
A beautiful gown.
Exactly. And these
And
were
uncomfortable shoes.
Yeah, you were wearing high heels like throughout most of the time.
The sacrifices I make for this child, really.
I mean, I thought you were used to wearing high heels, weren't you?
I'm a nurse. How often do we wear high heels?
Fair enough. So we had to spend like hundreds of dollars to make sure we had good enough outfits, and
But it was an honor to do it, though.
yeah, exactly. It was a nice honor.
We were both very, very appreciative of being included in this event. So trust us, it was no hardship to get dressed up. It was actually really fun to do it.
And it kind of helped us blend into the crowd, because the other thing about gala events is that while you can invite friends and family, ideally the people that you want to come to gala events are those with fat wallets, those that are willing to spend a lot of money for the Best Buddies fundraiser.
Because they're not really looking towards the product. People that are going to galas for events such as this, they know that they're going to donate more money. They're going to get something in exchange. But what they're really going to be doing is to continue to support what the project is about.
Yeah, there's a reason she keeps hinting at that. There's actually a funny story to it. So it made me kind of envious. Like, I wish I had that much money to throw. But it also really showed how much people were willing to give for the sake of this cause. So we arrive at the gala event, and the auction items are in two phases. One of them is a silent auction, and one is the live auction. Now, the silent auction, what you do is there's a list of items where you go onto a website, look at the list of items, and they were actually displayed in the gala. Then you sign in, put in your card number, and put bid to put in a certain amount. And if you were outbidded, you would get a text notification, so you could bid again. And at the end of the silent auction, whoever had the highest amount would win. So
now, a recommendation to everyone. If you go to a gala and you are bidding on something that you like, please make sure that the person you are with doesn't have a happy trigger finger.
also, if you are not going to get the auction item, make sure the other person pays as high as possible. Like, one example, there was a narrow gauge train trip that I was looking at. It was around a value of $110. So I bid on it, then someone else bid on it, then I bid again, the other person bids, and we keep going back and forth, and it was getting over $200. So already, it was twice the amount that it was originally set for. So I was thinking to myself, okay, this is getting a little bit too pricey for me. I'm going to raise it a couple more times just to make sure the other person pays for it. So what I did was I basically stuck them with a bill of $250 of what was originally supposed to be $110.
But they did get a nice package. I mean,
they did. I'm just glad I didn't have to pay the bill.
However, then when it came time for a basket of Starbucks that my son was sitting right next to me
and I made the bundle, no less.
Yes, he did. I saw the bundle. I liked it. I'm a nurse. We do coffee. So I'm sitting here and I bid it. And then I'm showing my son, oh, look, okay, so I have it for, and I forget even what the dollar amount is. And
it originally started around $50.
Yeah. So Stephen goes, oh, Mom, you mean that package? So then I get a notification, you have bid against yourself. Thank you.
Well, there was someone else bidding as well. So there was another bid. You put in a bid. Then someone else did bid. Then you put in a bid.
And then you bid for me.
Exactly. So like less than a minute, she got a notification like she was outbid again. So she raised a little bit higher.
And he raised it again. And then at the last minute, the other person bid it and got it.
Exactly. Like, it was 0 seconds. We take a look at the list, and it's like, you lost. Mom was pretty upset with me. I was laughing my butt off.
Coffee.
I was laughing my butt off.
It was actually very comical. Almost as comical as another bid that Stephen got involved in.
No. We'll get to that in a bit. Just be patient. We'll get there.
You're gonna love this story.
And another thing that we put up for auction was some Apache jewelry from a near and dear friend of the family, Grandma Louise, which we could do like a whole nother podcast about her at some point, because there's a lot of story involved in that. But for now, let's just stick with the gala event. So, silent auctions are done. Now we get to the live auctions. If you've ever seen on TV where it's like, hey, 100 over here, 100, 100, hey, 200, 200, 200, 500, do I hear 500, go once, going twice? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's like literally exactly what it is. It's like, I thought that was only in cartoons, but how does someone have that much energy and talk that fast? They were talking faster than Thomas, and that's saying something.
That's saying something, absolutely.
So, like, one of the live auction items was a vacation trip. So, like, this was something my campaign manager put together. And what happened was the auction lady said the magic word, California.
I lost him at that point.
It's like my hand was, like, on the card. It was about to go up. I was like, Mom, hold me back, hold me back, hold me back, hold me back.
Unfortunately, the reader, the person who goes around to watch, he saw this. And he said, I got you. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Like, he was looking at me like, are you in? Are you in? I was like, no.
Nope,
It's like, what? Are you in? Are you in? Wait, no, it was a joke. It was a joke. So what happens was, I keep trying to raise it up. What happens is, Mom takes both of those auction cards and she sits on them.
The Fonz would be so proud of me.
Just to make sure I would not put another bid.
It was over $2,000, folks.
And to be fair, I was just joking. I wasn't actually going to bid. It's just when that guy went over, he was like, "Are you in? Are you in?" I was like, "Oh God, no."
He's learning, folks, about how not to move your body in an auction arena.
Yeah. So then we get to the story that Mom wanted to talk so much about. And that is, I went to my workplace and asked for some support. They couldn't do a sponsorship for reasons, understandable reasons.
But they did a very nice thing.
They donated a mini fridge around a value of $200. And my campaign manager actually got some craft beer for it. So,
with football season coming up, what man would not want such a fridge filled with beer?
I can't believe I didn't think of that. I did not think about that.
I did.
So, what happens is, so we see the mini fridge, and it starts the value at 100. Like, oh boy. Then it gets to 200. Okay, awesome. We got out of the red and into the black. Then I hear 300, then 400, then 500. I was like, wait, what? 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. I was like, wait, what? Then it went 1,100, 1,200, 1,300. I was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? So
they were having a blast. They were, and it was down to pretty much three people. And they were just playing with each other and competing back and forth. Now,
it was like watching financial tennis. It was like 1,500, then 2,000. I was like, are you kidding me? So what happens is, at the end, the mini fridge that was originally $200, along with some beer, sold for $3,500. I did not stutter. I did not say 35 or 350. No, 3,500.
So this is an example of the excitement that this type of an event can build. And again,
I couldn't tell if it was excitement or lack of judgment, because, like, This was just a
No.
standard mini fridge, a miniature appliance.
But
There was
see-
nothing special about it.
But
This was
yes.
not made of 18 karat gold.
But
This does not have an
Stephen.
automated system. It was
Stephen.
just a mini fridge.
Stephen.
It was just a mini fridge.
Sweetheart, you're missing the point.
The point that people can be loose with money?
No, sweetheart. The point that everybody that came to that event understood clearly what the focus was. And the focus was, in fact, to raise money for this community. These people that were there understood. They came to the event, to the gala, with the understanding that they were going to be donating more money and getting things. And you know what? That refrigerator is going to go to somebody who's going to appreciate it. But they're still going to remember that not only are they getting to appreciate the money that they donated to the cause, Stephen, there's somebody out there that's going to benefit greatly from those funds.
But it's like, it was just a mini fridge. And like, mind you, the goal of the Best Buddies fundraiser was 3,000, right? So all the weeks of me going around to different places, getting auction items, direct donations, setting up events, all of it got outdone
By a mini fridge.
by a mini fridge.
However,
Like, the mini fridge was holding that $3,000 goal by itself. It was holding it with one hand and had a comic book in another hand. It was just casually reading on top of a pile of all the other auction items I donated.
right. But here again, Stephen, this is, and I have to say something. I am very, very proud of Stephen. You know, he's making a lot of fun about this, and I got to tell you, the entire audience was absolutely in a roar about this. But the reality is, this is what this event was about. Stephen accomplished not only his set goal, but way above. And the people that came had a wonderful meal, had a wonderful time, listened to great music, enjoyed very good food and
Ooh.
wines and drinks.
And speaking of music, this would be a good time to talk about the project that Rachel included me in on.
Absolutely.
Now, throughout the weeks, I just mentioned it as a super secret project that I literally could not tell anyone about. But now I can.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. It's already done. So the super secret project was actually a 2-minute video about a short documentary about one of the previous Best Buddies champions, Shivam. And this is a very talented kid. Like, I'm talking about someone who could listen to a music piece one time and then play it easily on the piano. So I was charged with making a 2-minute special video for Mr. Shivam because he was going to be an ambassador for Best Buddies. So I had to make it presentable, and this project got shown in front of over 300 people live. And to hear so many people cheering and applauding for the video I made, it meant the world to me. And it was a great short story for Shivam and his family too. So now that I've revealed the super secret project, I have to ask Rachel if I can show it to you someday. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. We'll see. No promises.
But then also, with the video, it allowed this other individual, this other champion, to be able to highlight his talents. Stephen's talents lie in what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I was just
Shivam.
telling the story. Shivam was the one who was playing the music and actually played live in front of the
And he
audience
did.
afterwards.
Exactly. See, and that's one of the nice things about events like this, because it highlights the talents of these individuals. Remember earlier I said, I don't always like to use the word disability. I like to use the word other ability. This is Stephen's, that was Shivam's.
Yep. So, at the end of all the crazy auctions and the showing of the video and Shivam's musical performance, then there gets to the point where they gather all the champions together and they announce who was the champion of the year for 2022. Now, me, I was just focused on getting that $3,000 goal. That's all I was focusing on. But, so what they give to all the champions who participated, they gave this certificate of participation right here. Just making sure it's focused enough. And then what I end up with is this. This says I got into the top 3 of the Best Buddies fundraiser, which I was absolutely shocked. I was like flabbergasted.
Yes.
Like literally the announcer was like, in 3rd place, Steven. I was like, what? Me? Wait, is there another Steven around here? So it's like, after looking around, I awkwardly take a few steps forward. I was like, I have no idea why this is happening. What is going on?
It was kind of fun to watch. It kind of reminded me of when you were in the 6th grade and he got pulled up to the front because he had gotten an award. So he went up, he got his award. Okay, that's fine. He goes back. And they said, Steven, you got to come back. You got another award. Long story short, he won like 10 awards. After about the 3rd one, he just looked at them like, more? No, I'm good. Give it to someone else. He didn't want to be bothered. And then finally, when he got the idea that, okay, stay up here, Steven, because we have your attendance award, this award, that award.
But the thing is, like, those awards back at grade school, that was just for stuff we are expected to do. So that didn't
Had
really
no meaning
seem
to him.
Right. It didn't really seem much to me. It's like a pat on the back for doing what you're supposed to do.
Right.
But
this
was a different story because this tells me that I went above and beyond to raise as much funds as possible, and I was like,
succeeded.
Like the 3rd highest donor or champion out of dozens of others from the Champion of the Year fundraiser. I got into the top 3. And what made this more special is that see, children can be champions as well.
Yes.
And usually in those cases, parents and adults or other people are usually doing most of the work. But me, most of it was by myself. Well, I also had help with the mission partner and like my mom and a few others. But the point was, I actually got the chance to earn this top 3. And that's why this one in particular means the world to me.
And I'm very, very proud of him.
Yep. So this has definitely been one of the biggest projects I've worked on aside from the YouTube channel. Now some people might be wondering, would I ever do this again? The short answer is no, at least not next year. Because here's the thing. Yes, it's awesome that we got 3rd place. Yes, it's awesome that we met the goal. But here's the thing. Complacency, sorry, let me say it again. Complacency is the opposite of progress. That's why, while it's great that I got this goal, I cannot be 100% content with it. Like the next time I want to do this, I want to go bigger than before. I also want to do more of these out of the box ideas and have them work, or at least work better than they did this year. But what this fundraiser showed me is that while I was successful, I'm not where I want to be yet. Not as a content creator and not as an advocate. I feel like where I need to be is I need to be able to promote events on social media and get a lot of people to come. I want to be able to do charity live streams that have a lot of people participate in those so we can make a big difference in fundraisers like this. Yes, the auction items went well. Yes, we got a bunch of direct donations, but the next time I do this, I want to be able to do it my way. And who knows, maybe Best Buddies can help promote me and my content. I mean, just wondering, just saying the possibilities out there. But all in all, it was a incredible experience, and I know that money is going to be making a big difference for individuals with developmental and intellectual and developmental disabilities. It's going to take some getting used to. So, That's basically our experience with this Best Buddies fundraiser.
And as someone who worked alongside with him and supported him, but mostly watched step back because it's his day, it's his project, it's his. I gotta tell you, it was an amazing experience as a mom, but also as a person who has supported this community for years.
Yeah, when you heard that top 3 announcement, you were about to be in tears.
Yeah, I really was. We were really enjoying it. We understood what the focus was, but to have my son's name called out, especially on raising funds, because that's not something that we've ever really stressed with him, but just the accomplishment and the look on his face, any parent would have been extremely proud, as was I, that he did this. He made the decision. He got involved. He did need a little bit of my help, but you know what? If I hadn't have been there, he still would have succeeded. Because at the end of the day, Stephen understands what it means to be included. Stephen understands what it means to have the resources. And Stephen understands what it means to support your community. And on that note,
I think it's time to end the podcast. So thank you very much for tuning in, either watching or listening, one of the two. If you enjoy what you see, consider subscribing to Tostemac and clicking the bell icon to stay up to date on our latest videos. Also, if you have any more questions about Best Buddies or want to share your experience with Best Buddies, let us know in the comments section below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So, thank you very much for tuning into this podcast, and until the next one, see you later.